Alright, so here we have my little Mrs. Pac-Man and Mr. Pac-Man that I'm going to show you how to make today. This is one that I just kind of put a face on, one that I attached to a bracelet. So yeah, let's get started. So first of all, you're going to need 3 basic colors. You have yellow, red, and black Sculpey. Actually, this red one is Fimo Effects Clay. I'm sure you can see. That means it has sparkles in it. So, or it can have pretty much anything you want in it, just that one that I purchased has sparkles in it. So you want to make sure to knead the clay. It needs to warm with your body temperature, otherwise you cannot move it. And let's get a different angle really quickly. This is my pasta roller, and this is what I will be sticking this through. This is my yellow polymer clay. I ran it through one time, this thickness. And let's get you back down here. So that's pretty much what I did. I just ran it through one time. I have a circular, make sure we get you in here good. I have a circular little, let's call it hole puncher again. I'm going to push it into my clay. There we have it. I took off my fake fingernails so my finger will fit through. So here we have this. Now to get it this size, you see it's just, I think it's slightly, they're almost exactly the same size. To make it look a little bit nicer and not so rough from the hole punching it out, I just like to kind of warm it up with my hand and kind of touch the edges, but you still want it to remain, have a thickness to it, because you're going to be sticking the eye pins in it, or the eye hooks in them, so that you can attach them to bracelets or whatever you desire. So now that I have this, I'm going to take my fancy little cutting tool that I keep in here because it is extremely sharp and it will cut you. What is this called? I think this is called the Zero something. Oh, the X Factor. Anyways, it has a nice little blade there. Make sure it's tight so you don't cut yourself. And then you're just going to want to cut his mouth out. So I would just kind of eyeball it, cut. And this doesn't have to be perfect. You can make it whatever size you like. So there's that. Now to make the eye, it's up to you if you would like to use black Sculpey or black polymer clay, or if you'd rather just bake it and then dot your eye on with a, what's it called? Paintbrush. This is the paint I would use. This is what I currently, shouting in the background, this is what I currently use to dot my eyes onto things if I don't want to use the black polymer clay. This is the acrylic paint I got from the fabric store. You don't really need anything special, but today I am going to go ahead and use the black polymer clay. You need the ever so tiniest amount. Roll it in your fingers. There's other people home besides me, so they're making a lot of noise. So anyways, here's my little black polymer clay dot. I dotted on his little face, and there is my pretty much completed Mr. Pac-Man. So those two are done. Now since this one's already been rolled and I have a little bit of extra space, I would imagine I have enough for another hole punch to make Mrs. Pac-Man, which I do. I stick this guy out, smoothies. Remember, we're going to roll it again with our fingers, just a little bit, just to heat it up. So there we go, maybe a little bit more. Then I'm going to take my handy dandy X-Acto knife and cut it. And cut it again. Flick that off. There is our Mrs. Pac-Man face so far. We're going to take the black polymer clay again, roll it into a nice little ball, squeeze it. Where'd that clay go? There it is. Squeeze it onto our fingers. Dot it as an eye. So now it's a Mr. Pac-Man. We want to make it a miss. So what I do with this, let me bring Mr. Pac-Man out. This doesn't have to be perfect. Make sure you can see. I don't know if you can tell all the detailing in the bow, but there's not too much detailing. You can go on forever with the detailing. Now your option, you could roll it through the pasta roller, or you can just flatten it out how you want. Make sure it's gonna come off of there. Okay. So what I like to do is I like to cut it straight across, okay? And get rid of this half. I like, oh, you can't even see, can you? Steady. Sorry about that, we had some interruptions there. It's Sunday, you know, Super Bowl, whatever, it's chaos in my house today. So anyhow, I cut this so it has a straight edge. I cut the circle little thing I made into a straight edge. I like to cut it into a triangular shape like so. And I do the same thing with the other half. Just like that. You can make your you can make your bow however big you'd like. I like to kind of, again, push the edges in a little bit. I don't like the edges to be quite so pointy. Hopefully you can see through my big fat fingers. Kind of stick the bow where you want it to go. Again, I'm going to kind of just make two of the edges not so harsh and connect them. We have one more step to go and we are completed with Mrs. Pac-Man. So I'm going to take one of the excess pieces of red, roll it into a ball. This perhaps could be too big. Let me see. Maybe a little bit too big. Okay. So I'm going to flatten it out. You can make it higher or you can make it really flat, whatever you desire. Put that right where they connect to kind of cover the connection right there. And also add a nice little bow detailing, and hopefully you can see that. See, they're not perfect, they're not exactly, but you know, pretty similar. So now let's add the last part. So there's all of our clay pieces, we're done with that. Let's bring back our little guy right here that we haven't connected to a little eye hook pen yet. So here is my little, let me zoom out a little bit. This is a little kit I got from Hobby Lobby. I think it was like 10 bucks. It's pretty much everything you'll ever need for making jewelry, especially with beaded things. But I'm going to select this yellow handle. This is my little plier cutters things. Wire cutter, I should say. And this, let me zoom in a little bit. This wire cutter is going to, you want to kind of measure it out. I pick here. Well, if they'll cut. They're on the spot. They don't like to be, my wire cutters don't like to be put on the spot. You want to make it long enough so that it will stick in here, you see? But not that it goes all the way through because that is pretty long. Now we did make this thick enough so that we can add the hook in between. So let's go ahead and put the hook in. So there is that hook. Actually, I want this one to be a little bit more in. Okay. And then here is our second little eye pin, hook, whatever you want to call it. They're on the spot again, those like to put on the spot, so. Okay, so then this is our Mrs. Pac-Man. I'm going to connect it back here where her bow is. And you stick that right in between the thickness of the little clay. And that is pretty much all there is to it. You are going to want to bake these. Every clay packaging that you buy, you can buy them from random places, Hobby Lobby, Joann Fabrics, Michaels, anywhere. It'll say on the packaging how long to bake it and for how much of a degree, how many degrees Fahrenheit it needs to be. I will probably be baking these at 230 degrees Fahrenheit for approximately 20 to 25 minutes. They are small, I mean, compared to my finger. But they need that because it cures them. I don't have it handy with me, but they do sell, I'll show it in my next video, it's like a glaze for them, and I buy the Sculpey version because that's the kind you want to use. I mean, you can, if you're just doing this for your own benefit, you could totally use like clear nail polish. I've totally used just some random clear nail polish before. But yeah, if you're using them and you want them to look really nice, I definitely suggest the Sculpey glaze. It's very nice, especially the one I have. I think it was around $6, so it was a little expensive just because it had the brand name Sculpey, but what was I gonna say? Oh, it was a little bit expensive, but you can use it while the clay is still raw or after it's baked, so either way. Anyways, so that is my Mr. Pac-Man and Mrs. Pac-Man. I hope you enjoyed this video, although it was rather long, and I will see you next time. Bye, guys.